Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button, leave a like down below. With the Switch 2 coming out tonight, I'm going to the 9 o'clock release. The wrestling content might slow down just for the next couple days as I try to build up my Switch 2 channel. If you're curious, I encourage you to go check it out. Shameless plug. With that out of the way, I wanted to talk about 9 wrestlers or 9 wrestling personalities, I'll just put it that way, that'll probably never grace a WWE 2K or a WWE wrestling game again. So let's start right into this list. I wanted to go over the wrestling personalities. I don't want to say wrestlers because some of them aren't on this list. And I wanted to go over to the SmackDown Hotel, and I was curious what games they've been in, both WWE and non-WWE. And you'd be shocked at how many games they've been in, and it's going to be really weird when they're not in 2K26. All right, let's go over to SmackDown Hotel and let's discuss. All right, so first up is one of the most heartbreaking releases ever, and that's R-Truth. Now, he's never been like a major player as far as like world champion and stuff like that. I feel like he should have been, but they always kept him in like the goofball thing, right? But it worked for him. He's like the only one that could get away with that and be champion. I mean, I feel like he should have been, I feel like he should have beaten Cena, like with help, of course, because they want to protect Cena. Heck, Cena could have lost clean. Cena's done. He doesn't care. All right, he got his 17. He should have let Ron get it at least once. I feel like that would have been really cool. And then Cena could have won the Money in the Bank, and then he could have cashed in and got it right back. I feel like it's exactly what he was talking about. He's going to kill wrestling, or he's going to end wrestling, or ruin wrestling, whatever it was. What a great way to progress that storyline. Because right now, I'm just not feeling this John Cena thing. I'm not really feeling anything that WWE is doing. And I don't think Roman coming back. I don't think Cody coming back. I don't know. It feels like we're in limbo right now. And when release stars like this, where you had a golden opportunity to shake up the whole thing, and you just let it go because you're worried about making Cena look weak. This is R-Truth, for crying out loud. And if you watch that promo right before the main event match, I think it was on SmackDown, he killed that promo. He is that guy. He could have been champion for a month. Let the internet laugh for a month. It would have been great. And he could have pretended to be Ron Cena. Missed opportunity, and now he's going to be gone. And sadly, unless he signs a Legends contract, he might not be in another WWE game ever. Or at least for a very long time. He certainly won't be in 2K26, unless they get that Legend contract out there right away. All right, real quick, before we go to the next star, let's look at every wrestling game he's been in. R-Truth. He's been in, let's start with the old games. It says other games here. It says, let's make sure you can see it on the screen here. He was in Raw, the crappy Raw game. All Stars didn't have that many wrestlers in it. He was one of them. Can you believe that? R-Truth was in All Stars. Probably one of the greatest wrestling game offshoot games ever. That's awesome. WWE WrestleFest. That's how long he's been around. Supercard. Who cares? Champions, Mayhem, Universe, Battlegrounds. He was even in the terrible Battlegrounds game. It's going to be so weird when he's not in it. All right, then he was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. I could have sworn he was in one of the old SmackDown games, like Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth. I could have sworn he was in one of those, but according to the SmackDown Hotel, he was not. So that kind of sucks. So ever since 2010, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. He's been in every game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. It's going to be really weird when he's not on the roster. All right, let's go to our second person that's going to be really weird when they're not on the roster anymore. So the next up is The Miz. Now, it sounds like his career might be over or not. His contract might not be renewed once it's up. So it's going to be really weird if The Miz is not in the game next year, because he's been there forever. And let's go through all the games. Let's start with others first, and then we'll go up to the mainline games. So great. So he was in Undefeated, I don't even think I've ever heard of that. These must be phone games. He was in the crappy Battlegrounds, and he doesn't even look like him in that game, which is pretty funny. Universe, Mayhem, Tap Mania, Champions, Supercard, WWE WrestleFest, and All Stars. And then LOWM. I have no idea what that is. But he was in All Stars also. Him and R-Truth were in All Stars. That game had a very select roster, and those two got selected. That's how important they are to wrestling, especially WWE. Now, they haven't done jack in the last, probably, especially him, other than tag champions, but he hasn't really been in like the main title picture for a very long time. So that kind of sucks. I feel like he should be up there with the other guys. I don't know why they keep him in mid-card hell, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, he had a WrestleMania thing, and he beat John Cena and everything. Anyway, so he's been in every single game since 2009. So SmackDown vs. Raw, 09, 10, 11. Then he was in all the WWE when 2K took over and everything. All the way up till now, and he might not be in next year's game. That's insane to me. It's just going to be weird. Like, you're going through the roster, and you're like, wait a minute, where's The Miz? Oh, yeah, he's not in it. Which also means we won't have his beautiful wife, Maryse, in the game either. Because if he's not going to be there, I can almost guarantee she's not going to be there either. Good news about that, though, is this means they can be in other games like Ultra Pro Wrestling and the Wrestling Code if they don't get a Legends contract. I feel like WWE would take care of them with that, but it might be a while. Like, they might they might tell WWE to go to hell after they get laid off, you know? Anyway, so on to the next name. Next up is Brock Lesnar. With those allegations still looming about, he'll probably never be in another wrestling game or come back to WWE ever again. They're so terrified with their sponsors and stuff that they probably don't want any negativity or anything about that with their company. So that really sucks. So anyway, let's start with other games that he's been in. I hope the UFC one's here. With Authority, never heard of it. Mobile Madness Cage. I don't play any of the mobile games or any of the Game Boy games. I know there's quite a bunch on Game Boy, but I never played those. WrestleMania 19, one of my favorites. In fact, that's my favorite Nintendo wrestling game ever made because of the revenge mode. I had a brain fart there. Raw 2, Wrestle Kingdom. I actually own that, and he plays awesome in that game. Supercard, Immortals. He was in that awesome Immortals phone game, which should have been an actual game. It sucks it was only on the phone. I take it back. I do play a couple of the phone games. That was the only one because it looked so cool. That was the only phone game I played. 2K Mobile, Champions, Tap Mania, Mayhem, Universe, and of course, the terrible Battlegrounds, which is still... I'm surprised they haven't delisted that yet. The game is awful. Now, mainline games. Now, he left for a long time, but he was the guy when he was there. So, he was in Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain. This is tied for me, after replaying WrestleMania 19, Here Comes the Pain and WrestleMania 19 are tied as my favorite wrestling games. Mainly this one because it has the cool revenge mode, and this one because of the super, like, arcadey feel to it. You know what I mean? Like, No Mercy is awesome, but I played No Mercy after these because I wasn't really into wrestling at the time. But for me, yeah, these are the main two wrestling games that really hooked me. And it's funny that Brock Lesnar was a mainstay then, so that's kind of funny. And then he was in 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So he's been back ever since WWE 12. And it is really weird that he wasn't in last year's and he wasn't in this year's. It feels weird. It feels like even though there's over 300 wrestlers on the roster, it still feels really, really weird when you have a mega star like Brock Lesnar not in the game. That'd be like taking out The Undertaker. Not to, like, take a shot at Undertaker or anything, but I feel like Brock is on his level. I mean, hell, Brock ended his undefeated streak, so yeah. Like, it'd be like losing Undertaker. That's crazy. And the fact that Brock and Goldberg aren't in here, it's just weird. It just feels like wrestling legends, two of the biggest, aren't in our wrestling game. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. WWE has enough money to pay Goldberg to be in it. I know why Brock's not in it. That's not a money issue. That's the allegation thing, but it's just going to be weird because I guarantee you he probably won't be in next year's either. And it's just weird. Next up, over to AEW, and that's Jericho. I can almost guarantee you he will never grace another WWE wrestling game. But he's been in so many. Like, it's insane. I was looking at this and I was like, holy crap. Looking at all these kind of sparked this video idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video on this. I like this. So let's go through all these. So WCW Nitro, WCW NWO Revenge, WCW NWO Thunder, Mayhem, WrestleMania 2000, Royal Rumble 2000, No Mercy, With Authority, Road to WrestleMania, Raw, WrestleMania 18. That one was terrible. Road to WrestleMania 18. Wasn't that the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance game? Mobile Madness Hardcore, WrestleMania 19. We just talked about that. It's one of my favorites. Raw 2, Day of Reckoning. I gotta replay those because I don't remember those very well. I played the first Day of Reckoning. I never played the second one because it didn't have the revenge mode. Survivor Series, Raw, Mobile, WrestleMania 21. Terrible game. Like that game, that and the Raw games. I'm like, why did I buy an Xbox? All these wrestling games suck. Aftershock, Day of Reckoning 2. I gotta play that on stream or on the channel because, like I said, I never played the second one. That's like a whole new wrestling game that's really good, just waiting for me to play. In fact, we might do that in the next couple weeks. LOWM, I have no idea what that is. All Stars, he was in All Stars. Oh man, just like those other wrestlers. That select roster, and Jericho was in it, along with Miz and R-Truth. Jericho is one of the all-time greats. Supercard, Champions, Tapmania, Mayhem, Universe, and AEW Fight Forever. Probably the last wrestling game he'll be in, unless AEW can make another wrestling game, or if they share their wrestlers with Ultra Pro Wrestling or the Wrestling Code, which I made a video on that a long time ago. I would love to see that. That'd be a great way to get their guys out there. Now for the mainline WWE games, we got SmackDown, Know Your Role, Just Bring It, Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, and then he wasn't in it for 2 years. That's right, because he left the company. Came back in 2009, 2010, 11. I'm shocked he wasn't in 12. I think he left again. He left a couple times. And then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way up until 19. And then that was it. He hasn't been in the series since. So it's weird not having Jericho on the roster when he's so important to the history of WWE. Like, man, it's just gonna be weird seeing not seeing these legends there anymore. I'm like, maybe when he passes, I don't know, because I think he's an AEW lifer. I don't think he's ever going back, especially with Vince gone. Now another legend, Edge, aka Adam Copeland in AEW. I don't think he's ever going to be another WWE wrestling game either. So let's look at the games he's been in. These are the older games first, or games that aren't the mainline WWE games. We got Attitude, WrestleMania 2000, Royal Rumble 2000, No Mercy, With Authority, Road to WrestleMania, Raw, WrestleMania 18, Road to WrestleMania 18, Mobile Madness Cage, WrestleMania 19, Raw 2, Day of Reckoning, Survivor Series, Raw Mobile, WrestleMania 21, Aftershock, Day of Reckoning 2, doesn't even look like him there, LOWM, I still don't know what that is, sound off the comments below. He was in All-Stars also. All these amazing wrestlers were in All-Stars. WWE WrestleFest, Supercard, Champions, Mayhem, Universe, Battlegrounds, Undefeated, and he made it into AEW Fight Forever before they ended support for the game. That's actually really funny that he made it into the game. Even he didn't really, I guess he helped the game a little bit, but I don't know. It wasn't an issue of wrestlers. It was an issue of features and just stuff to do in the game. All right. And now for the mainline WWE games. He was in all the original SmackDown games all the way up. I think he was in every single game, wasn't he? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, all the way up until 2023. He was in every version of SmackDown all the way up until 2023. That's crazy. That is really crazy. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I say on the channel that the 2K games are literally the continuation of this first SmackDown game. This proves it right here. Like, they've been building off of that since the original SmackDown game that Yuke's created. It's amazing that that skeleton is still going all the way into 2025. Oh, that just blows my mind. But yeah, he's been in literally all of them except for the last 2 games. It's going to be weird not seeing Edge on the roster anymore. 2K18 doesn't look like him. That looks funny. Next up, we have Daniel Bryan. I don't see him appearing in a WWE game ever again because I feel like his career's wrapped up. Why would he go back to WWE, especially with Vince gone? I mean, I don't know if he was a Vince guy or not. I don't know. The whole regime over there at WWE is so different. I don't think they'd ever hire him back to do anything because he's, you know, he can't really wrestle. So what are they going to hire him for? To maybe a Legends contract for the games? But I feel like he's loyal to AEW, so he'll be sticking to AEW. But anyway, here's the games he's been in. WWE WrestleFest, Supercard, Immortals. He was in that cool Immortals game. That's cool. 2K Mobile, Champions, Tap Mania, Mayhem, Universe, the crappy Battlegrounds. And I forgot that he made it into AEW Fight Forever also. So, man, it's such a shame what happened with that game. Now on to the mainline games. And he didn't really make a lot of them, did he? So he's been in 12, 13, 2K14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And his last WWE game appearance was 2K20 because he went over to AEW. Man, he's been over there for that long? That's crazy. So his game footprint is pretty small. And that's kind of sad because he's one of the all-time greats, man. He's one of the best to ever do it. Oh, man. That's crazy. All right, for the next name, I just wanted to mix it up a little bit here. So one of the ladies, Sasha Banks, I think she's kind of burnt the bridge over there at WWE. I mean, anything's possible, I guess, if the money's right. But I don't know. I don't think they'd pay her what she wants to be in WWE. I feel like she's going to be in AEW for a long time. Tony Khan seems to really like her. They'd push her to the moon to give her every win and championship they possibly can. I feel like they're going to, if they ever do anything with AEW again, she'll be one of the first DLC that they add to it, or one of the stars they put on the cover of the next game if they were making another game. I feel like they're trying to right the ship and then build it back up. AEW is in a good spot right now. Like, I feel like they're on the uptick, while WWE is trying to figure out what they're doing with their stars going forward, because they just wrapped up, like, the whole Cody thing. That's done. Like, he might win the championship a couple more times, but they don't have another big villain. Like, Cena's trying to fill that role, but it just doesn't feel right because The Rock kind of helped screw it up. Anyway, so here are her game appearances. She was in Supercard, Champions, Tap Mania, Mayhem, Universe. Even she was in the Battlegrounds, and it looks nothing like her. Oh, they should be shot, whoever made that game. Then she was in 2K17, 18, 19, 20, and then her last appearance was 2K22 before she left the company. And she walked out of the company and burnt some bridges and took Naomi with her. And I'm glad Naomi came back because now she's doing great things. I don't know. I don't see her ever come back. Next up is one of my all-time favorites because he's done so much outside of wrestling and inside of wrestling. He's been in pretty much every promotion. I feel like if AEW was around, I don't think he ever would have went to WWE. I feel like he only went to WWE because there was no other big promotions. Like, TNA was still there, but they weren't as, they weren't massive like they were starting to be until Hogan came in there and screwed that up. But yeah, Sting. Let's look at all the games he's been in. It sucks that he's done. He's retired. I feel like you should bring him in as like a manager. The biggest thing that sucks about Sting is we never got Undertaker versus Sting. That should have happened. Never should have been Sting versus Triple H. That should have been Sting and The Undertaker. I don't know why they didn't do it. It's dream match that never happened. Anyway, so let's look at the games he was in. WCW Wrestling, WCW Main Event, WCW Super Brawl, WCW versus the World, WCW NWO World Tour, Nitro, Revenge, Thunder. I had the Thunder game. Oh, that game sucked. Mayhem, Backstage Assault, Showdown, Legends of Wrestling. That game, if you give it time, it's fun, but I don't know, it's so clunky. TNA Impact. Like, I bought that game used at the game, was it GameStop at the time? No, it was EB Games or Game Crazy, whichever one. And I played it, and since it didn't have a create a wrestler, I only played it for like a couple days, and then I took it back. Because at the time, all I cared about was create my own wrestlers and having them duke it out. I'm like, this sucks. There's no create a wrestler. And gameplay was so different than the SmackDown series. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go play the SmackDown series and create them in that. That's what I ended up doing. TNA Wrestling. TNA Cross the Line. TNA Wrestling Impact. It doesn't even look like him. Supercard. Immortals. He was in Immortals. That's awesome. WWE 2K Mobile. Champions. Tapmania. Mayhem. Universe. Battlegrounds. He was in the Battlegrounds game. Huh. And of course he was in AEW. He's like one of the main guys at the time. Alright, now his mainline game appearances. And he definitely will never appear in another WWE game. I feel like he's an AEW lifer until that company dies off. He's like the one rebel that's like anti-WWE. And it's weird. It's so weird. Anyway, so his first appearance was 2K15. And then 16, 17, 18, 19. And his last appearance was in the terrible, glitchy 2K20. Oy. It sucks. His last game was 2K20. At least he was in the awesome 2K19, so that's good. The last one made by Ukes. That's pretty funny. Last but not least, and this shouldn't be by any surprise, Vince McMahon. It is shocking to see a wrestling game of WWE/WWF and not have the guy who basically created it and started it not be in the games anymore. That's the biggest shocker to me. It's like, where's Vince McMahon? When you're going through the roster or managers, you're like, oh yeah, he's out, he's cooked, he can't be in it because of all the allegations and everything. So it's just weird not seeing him in the game. So anyway, here are his non-player character appearances: SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown vs. Raw 06, SmackDown vs. Raw 07, another one of my favorites, mainly because the locker room, and I think that's the first one that added in controlled, what do you call that, grapples, where you can actually position them and stuff. I thought that was really cool, and they should have explored that way of doing it a lot more. But now we still have ones where you can position them and stuff, but I feel like they should have went more towards that instead of the way they went. Anyway, 2K15 non-player, 2K24, that's when they had to remove him. And then other games: WrestleMania 2000, Royal Rumble 2000, No Mercy, Raw, WrestleMania 18, 19, LOWM, I still don't know what that is, Supercard Champions, and he was in Battlegrounds. Oh, I hate that game. Oh, that's so funny. And it actually looks like him in the picture. Now for the mainline games, I believe that's it. Okay, yeah, the mainline games, of course he was in SmackDown, Know Your Role, Just Bring It, Just Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain. He looks funny there. SmackDown vs. Raw 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. He wasn't in 15? That's weird. And then 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, and his last appearance as a playable character was 2K23. Man. So, if I missed any, what are some wrestlers that you think will never come back or never be allowed back in WWE that will never be in the WWE wrestling game again? And isn't that so weird? I mean, wrestlers that are synonymous with WWE and WWE wrestling games never being in the game again going forward? It really is truly a new era of WWE. In fact, I feel like the end of WWE happened when Cody won the belt from Roman. You know how shows have like a series finale and then the show's over and it's done and they ride off into the sunset? WrestleMania 40 felt like the end for WWE. Like, they haven't really done, like, built up anything else after that. They beat the big villain that had been running the show for, 4 years, 5 years? And they had failed to build up a new villain. I feel like they're scrambling to try to figure out what to do next. Cody, it's not Cody's fault why his championship reign was kind of eh. They failed to give him somebody else big enough to fight. He had this megaton babyface and no heels for him to face. And every heel they built up a little bit, like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could have been that guy, but they rushed it. Anyway, so 2K26 is going to be weird because there's going to be a lot of missing names from it. I feel like the list is going to get bigger as the year goes on and we get closer to 2K26. And we're going to have more celebrity characters and non-wrestlers in 2K26 DLC. Times are changing. Anyway, thank you for watching. This was fun to do. And as always, stay frosty.